Welcome to the Retire As You Desire show. For today's show, we're going to be talking about how to not only get out of debt, but how to permanently stay out of bad debt. I grew up in a household where my parents could never, ever figure out what to do with the dollar, let alone two. And it seemed like for every dollar that they made, they were always $2 in debt. It was always a nightmare. I know that when my mom passed away, we had a stack of credit cards. There was 44 of them that she rotated in between. And I know this is not uncommon. Here in America, there's over $17 trillion of bad consumer debt. 17 trillion. And then on top of it, we just hit $1 trillion worth of credit card debt. So obviously this is a huge problem, and I'm going to show you what you need to do to make sure that this doesn't happen to you. But if you're in this scenario, here's how to get out of it moving forward. So you're going to want to stay with us for all four parts of the show today. So number one, it doesn't matter how much money you're making. Let's just start with that. What you really want to consider is, what are your fixed expenses every month? This is the most boring thing to go through for your financial plan, but what's your rent? What's your mortgage? What's your health insurance? All of these fixed expenses are something that you want to subtract against your net income every single month. And again, super boring. Believe me, I know. I've done it plenty of times in my life, and I've helped a lot of our clients with this as well. But the one thing you want to know is, are you spending more money than what you're making every month from the start? And if you are, it's going to be pretty hard to stay out of debt because you're already in the red. You're already negative. So number one, if we want to understand how much money we're making, that's simple. You just take your paychecks, consider that every month, add them together. But then here's the hard part. You have your food costs. You have somewhat of a social life. You want to date someone, or you're married and you still want to go out on a date night or go have coffee with your family. And then you add up kids. If you have diapers, or you have all these different expenses, it's astronomically expensive. But going back to the basics, this is your first starting point, especially if you want to be out of bad debt. And here's some great examples of how we've helped our clients figure this out over the past 15 years. One client that we worked with, it was a husband and wife, and they just had their first kid. They were making about $7,000 a month. This is after taxes, after 401k, after everything. So it's a pretty healthy salary here in America. And the way that they were getting way above, their spending thresholds was eating out. They were going to Starbucks once, twice, sometimes 3 times a day between the two of them, because they would be out and about, getting their latte, getting their sandwich, getting a croissant, whatever they were buying. All these things were adding up. So they were spending over $2,000 a month on these fast food items, and they were already almost at their threshold. So it was really difficult for them to get their spending in order. So what they did is they bought great coffee machine at home. They started ordering all their pastries and things like that they wanted. It was brought to their house. So then they started to save time too, because your time is your most valuable asset. And then the gentleman out of the couple, he was a business owner. He saved so much time. He was able to not necessarily double, but he was able to have about an 80% increase in income and revenue for the business over the next year and a half, just from that time saving. So he really was focused on his time at that point, because that's how he made his money, is being in front of his clients. But also the spending, their mortgage, their insurances, because they didn't have extra insurance through work, they were really brushing up to that threshold every single month. So a different exercise that I took them through, this was a fun one, and this is an easy one, is just going through your credit card statements every single month. Find the ones that are reappearing. Those are the Netflix, the Disney, it's the Uber Eats, all these things, these subscriptions. Figure out which ones mean the most to you. I'm not saying cancel all your series, cancel all the things that you really love doing, but you need to have a balance. You need to have things in place, because that helps in the long run. Because let's say if you're making $7,000 a month like they were, but you're only saving, let's say, 10% of your income. That's for retirement, savings, investing, college plan for the kids if you want to do that. It means you're spending 90% of your money. That's not the American dream. You're not here to spend all of your money. You're here to put money away to have a bigger and better future. And the way they were able to do that is they found over $6,000 worth of savings a year just by getting rid of their subscriptions. And that took them less than 2 hours. Now here's the question. Would you spend 2 hours to save $6,000 a year? I don't know anyone who wouldn't do that exercise. So take some time and do that today, do that tomorrow, but don't wait. That's going to be instant savings that are going to go straight to the bottom line and straight into your pocketbook. And that could fund a Roth IRA to grow tax-free money for your future. It's almost a no-brainer. It's really simple to do. And then another thing I helped them with is we really took a look at their home insurance, their auto insurance. Now, I'm not licensed to do this. I don't handle that. But I recommended, why don't you shop that? Why don't you take some time? And it takes effort to do this. But they found an independent insurance person, and they were able to save a couple $1,000s a year on all of their premiums, on everything. So between not only their subscriptions, but their insurances, they were at almost $8,000 a year of savings. You see how these things are starting to add up? And this was another big one that I helped them with. They had 3 cars for 2 drivers. Something wasn't adding up there. If you're struggling financially, one of the hardest things to do is to get rid of the toys. Get rid of the fun stuff, get rid of the watches or your wine collection or the boat that you never use. Sometimes you have to say yes and get rid of these things. Because when you have your money working for you in the right places, guess what you can do? You could buy these things back. You could buy something different. You could buy something that you actually like and love to use and something that works for your family. So they also got rid of that 3rd car. That was part of the insurance savings that they had. But they took the money from the sale of the car, which was over $20,000. It's a lot of money. They put half of that towards their savings. So they added $10,000 to their safety net. But also they took that $10,000, the other half, and they paid off a credit card. So paying off that credit card, it freed up an extra $600 a month from a savings standpoint. So their $7,000 a month income now has a ton of extra wiggle room every month just because they don't have subscriptions, they have lower insurance premiums, and they paid off a credit card, $700 extra a month. So they literally were able to find a couple extra $1,000 to save, invest. I even asked them to put $300 a month for a vacation fund. So they're automatically saving every month so that they can go on a family vacation. And that's their dream. They want to take the kids to Disney World. So everything is set up from an automatic standpoint where we know money's coming out on this date, it's being put into the savings account, this investment account, and this vacation account. So it's working in all 3 ways. And it didn't take them a year or 2 or 3 to really figure out what they needed to do to save money every month. But they sold a car that they didn't need. They got rid of extra things that they didn't need, and they simplified their life. My favorite part of our conversations now is they tell me how less stressed they are and how much happier they are. They have less things. They're not having to pay for these extra things anymore, which is a great thing. And they have a lot of their time back because they were wasting time on the series and this and that. If you simplify your life, you have less expenses, you're able to invest. And that $1,000 a month that they're investing now is going to grow tax-free because they're able to put it into a Roth IRA and they're able to withdraw money tax-free into their future. All of these things are going to be a much better scenario for my clients, and they're young. When you're in your 30s, if you can invest that same $1,000 a month, and that's going to continue to grow because the client's business is growing now, that's going to equate to hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, for their retirement future. So simplify your life, get rid of things that don't matter to you, I would really suggest stop trying to impress people because they really don't care what you have anyways. And if you're buying things just to impress people, it's not a good habit to be in. Believe me, everyone's been there, done that, but it's gonna save you a lot of stress too. So to recap for part 1 of the episode, understand how much money is coming in every month. What are your fixed expenses? What are things that you could actually get rid of quickly and easily? I think you'll be surprised about how many thousands of dollars you could save in less than a week's worth of time. Stay tuned to the Retire As You Desire show. Welcome back to the Retire As You Desire show. In this segment, we're going to talk about how to stop spending money just so frivolously. I know I've done it before, a lot of our clients have done it before, and I get a lot of phone calls from people asking, how do I stop spending money? So I've created 2 different ways that are going to help you not only think before you spend money, because let's face it, it's too easy to get on your phone, go on Amazon or go on eBay or wherever you're buying things and purchase things because you have your Apple Pay, things go quickly, PayPal. It's super convenient, but it's also not helping you save money for retirement. Because for every dollar you spend, you're giving up a better version of yourself in the future. So that $1 could create 5, 10, 100, depending on where you put it and invest that money. So here's 2 things that I've done personally, and I've also helped our clients do this. And it's really made a big difference from a saving and investment standpoint. Even to the point where some of our clients are able to save 50% of their income now because they stopped spending money. 50%, it's unbelievable. And again, these are simple tactics that you could really implement today. So the first one is, if you're gonna spend money, let's say you wanna buy a pair of shoes. You've been thinking about these shoes for months. They finally went on sale and they're $200. Here's what you wanna do before you spend that money. Let's say if you're gonna buy the $200 pair of shoes, you have to invest $200. So you're gonna spend $200, but you're also going to invest that same amount of money, let's say in the stock market, because that way, if you invest the $200, that's gonna help grow that money, and that's gonna create the opportunity to, have more shoes or save for retirement or have a bigger and better financial future. And this is true for anything. If you're gonna spend a $5,000 amount on, let's say, a watch or a ring or a purse or anything that you don't need, and believe me, I'm preaching to the choir here, but let's say if you're gonna spend that money, automatically know that you have to spend that money in some form of an investment first. So that way you're getting to the very simple principle of invest first, and then you could spend, but as long as you invested the money. This has been a huge game changer for our clients, because when people come to us, they just want to know if they're all right. That's the biggest thing about money. People want to know if it's okay to do things. I saw a client just on Sunday, and she asked me, can I, and literally Sunday, not in front of my computer, nothing like this, but she asked me, can I redo my kitchen? And I'm sitting there like, it's Sunday, I'm not working, I'm with my family. But I get these questions all the time, and I know she's a multi-millionaire. It's not going to matter because that equity is going to go into her home, which is a great thing. But she's already saved and invested the money for her future. She's in her 70s. So yes, she can definitely do that. She can afford it. We put different parameters in place where people can know we have an extra amount of spending this year if we want to go on a vacation, or we want to go on a big trip, or if we want to redo the kitchen. All of those are built inside of our clients' plans. But for the people who are trying to save and get ahead so that they don't have to worry about their future, you want to be able to invest first and then save later. Invest the money and then save later, but also stop the spending. The spending is really going to hurt you in the long run. Because again, you can do the math. This is another simple trick that you could use that's right on your phone that could really show you how much money you're losing by spending every single dollar you make, and especially if you're not saving. So there's an easy calculator that I like to use. I do this for myself as well. You want to put in the amount of money that this item is. Let's say you're gonna spend $1,000 on XYZ. It doesn't matter. But you put that into your easy calculator. You put a 7% rate of return on that money. So you're probably thinking, if you put $1,000 down, get a 7% rate of return, $70. You're like, I can make that up with work. But the problem with that is 7%, hopefully over 20, 30 years, all that money adds up. And once you start getting into the mindset where every dollar counts, every single dollar could be compounding for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, that's a game changer in and of itself to understand the actual metrics of your money. So that same $1,000 is going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars in the future to buy something that's probably not going to be worth that in the future. So understand the future value of the things you're spending money on could save you a ton of money and stop getting cluttered in the household as well. So when you're spending money, again, do the homework. If you're going to spend $1,000, understand what that time value of money is going to cost you in the future. If you're okay with losing tens of thousands of dollars by spending the $1,000 now, well, that's up to you. But if you're having trouble getting ahead every month, we need to stop the spending now. And when you go back to the first lesson in this show, if you know what your basis is and you know where your spending's at, those are the hard things to figure out. But once you free yourself up and have extra money every month, if you automatically invest that, that's going to create a future that's going to be really compelling for you. But knowing how much money you're wasting by spending is also a big game changer. Now, I want to share with you a really great idea that's going to help charities, but it's also going to help you stop spending money as well. So another idea that I came up with are for our clients who have really big hearts. They love giving to charities, they love helping people. They think of other people first, so they're kind of gun shy on spending their own money first. Here's one of the things that we came up with, and my client, one of them specifically, we came up with this together. So they hate spending money. They grew up in the era where their parents were in the Great Depression. They weren't raised on having a ton of things. They were just raised on living a very simple life. There's nothing wrong with that. But life is meant to be enjoyed. So whenever they spend money on things that they don't typically need, what they'll do is they will take that same amount of money and they will match that, send a check to one of their charities that they support. So they're actually getting a tax write-off. They're helping people in need. And they support 7 different charities. They have the biggest hearts. They don't have all the money in the world. They really don't. But they're very aware of spending $500 on an item that they probably or may not need. But if they do that, they want to feel good about themselves. So they actually write a check for one of their charities. And no, this is not on their groceries. This is not on, your everyday living expenses. But this is something that is above and beyond their normal expenses. It's a really great way to feel good about yourself, feel great about helping other people, and I think that actually helps with your longevity and less stress and your lifespan, because all of those things mean you're giving to other people and you're making others' lives much better. It's really phenomenal. So to recap for the session, if you don't know how to stop spending money, idea number 1, if you really don't understand how much money you're wasting, start investing the same amount of money that you spend on things that you don't need. So dollar for dollar. But you have to be honest with yourself. This is what I joke around with a lot of our clients. If you make up an excuse in your head, I really need this backpack, or I really need this jacket, or I really need this, that, and the other, you're not being honest with yourself. If you don't need it, don't spend it. But if you're going to spend it, invest that same dollar amount. Dollar for dollar, no excuses. Do it immediately. You could probably set that up on your phone to have it done like that. Idea number 2, this is a fun one. Before you spend that money, just take out your phone, put the numbers in the easy calculator. It's free to download. I'm not associated with them in any way, shape, or form, but it's a great tool to use to understand how much money you're potentially wasting in the future. Because if you spend that $1,000 on the item, it's probably very unlikely that the value is going to be the same as opposed to you putting the money in the stock market for 20, 30, 40 years. And then lastly, this is for my charitable giving clients and the people out there like yourself. If you're going to spend money on things you don't need, donate that same amount of money to charity. So you don't feel bad about buying something for yourself because you've worked so hard all your life, but also you're going to make a big difference in other people's lives. That's a win-win scenario in every single way. So I'm really excited to hear about some different saving strategies that you come up with, and thank you for tuning in to the Retire As You Desire show. Welcome back to the Retire As You Desire show. Today's episode is all about saving money and why it's so important. Right now, it's really hard. Costs have been rising, food, gas, everything, insurance, everything's been quite astronomical ever since COVID happened. But the good news is there are ways to still get ahead with your money and still have a great life. I'm going to share a story with you about someone who started saving early and how they became multimillionaires into their 70s. But you have to play the long game. You have to have the right mindset. But they didn't scrimp. They didn't, pinch every single penny when they were going through their working years. They lived a pretty great and balanced life, and I've been really fortunate to work with this family for many, many years now. But they did all the work in the beginning. So let's go back 30 years now. When the husband and wife started working, the wife was working part-time because they had 3 little kids. There wasn't a lot of extra time. There wasn't a lot of daycares during those years. So the thing is, the husband was the main breadwinner. That was the case a lot of the times back in the day. It's not like that now. Things are completely different. But the one great thing that this gentleman did is he understood what compounding interest meant. And in one of our first meetings, we were an introduction from another one of our clients, and he shared a really great figure with me. He was able to almost immediately tell me the number if he invested $5,000 a year, every single year, for 30 years. And if he made a 7% return on the money, he just left the money in the stock market. He didn't try and time the market, buy high, sell low, and make mistakes. But what he did is he just put it in every single month, and that would net him roughly $540,000. That's just on a $5,000 investment for 30 years. He knew that if he could double or triple that, he was going to be able to become a millionaire, but better than that, a multi-millionaire, just by letting his money do the work. So every single day, he got up, he went to work, he did his job. But the great thing is he put money in his 401k that was above and beyond your normal 10% savings rate. He was trying to maximize his account throughout the years. And he told me when he first started investing, the maximums were down to $12,000 or $13,000. Now, it's almost doubled. It's in the 20s. But he really allowed compounding interest to work for him. And here's a brilliant tip that they did. The wife, when she worked part-time, this was probably one of the most brilliant things that they did. They used that money to save, but that was their vacation money. That was their fun money, as we like to say. So over the years, they were able to still go on vacations, but they purposely allocated money into different investments and different vehicles. But that savings of the wife's income, that helped them go to the Grand Canyon, go to Yellowstone, go to different places throughout the US. But you know what they did? They didn't fly anywhere. They drove in their big van. So there was a balance there. I remember them pulling up on the block after their vacations. They were very happy to get out of the van, but they were also very happy to have been able to have gone somewhere with their family and make those life-lasting long memories. So here's what they did on top of just their 401k. This gentleman was very intuitive about taxes. As soon as the Roth IRA became available, he said to himself, why don't we start investing in this? Because this can create tax-free income for the future. With the government just printing $10 trillion of money over the pandemic, I mean, rightfully so. We had really tough times. It was uncertain for all of us, business owners, for employees, employers. Everyone didn't know what was going on. But when you have all this inflation, it's potentially going to lead to higher taxes. And this gentleman knew many, many years ago, taxes are probably going to continue to go up slowly but surely. But in the environment that we're in now, I love seeing people put their money into tax-free vehicles rather than taxable, because the big difference between taxable now versus taxable later is we know what the tax rates are now. We know essentially what your write-off amount's going to be and how much you could save if you put money into the pre-tax dollars. But the thing is, 20, 30 years from now, especially if you're just starting out from a savings and investing standpoint, we have no idea where taxes are going to be in the future. So it's almost like hedging your bet and thinking about how can I have tax-free money for later. So having a strategy to do this could be a game changer. They had half of their investments over time being put into the Roth accounts. So they were completely splitting everything up in half besides the 401k contributions. So when they go to withdraw money from their investment accounts in retirement, they're not being taxed to death. That's the moral of the story here, is having tax diversification and having money set aside for tax-free. That could be for vacations, for fun money, but also knowing exactly how much money you're going to be taxed. And that's the hard point. But he made a very clear statement to me at an early age, is that he knew that he didn't want to be taxed like crazy in retirement. He wanted to keep as much of his money as possible, just like anyone else would. So he created different tax strategies to help him and his family try and have a better retirement. And here's another scenario of a client who really struggled in retirement because they just didn't understand how taxes were going to be actually played when they went to retire. So they retired with $1 million. It was a husband and wife, and they were 60 years old. This scenario is not the same as our first set of clients. And unfortunately, we no longer work with this couple. But they had almost $1 million when they retired. The thing is, they withdrew $150,000 the first year in retirement. The problem with this is this made all of their Social Security taxable, up to 85%. They didn't listen. From that standpoint, they're like, you know what, that's okay. But they lost a lot of money when they took this huge distribution out of their account. They were surprised on how much taxes they had to pay. And then the year after that, they had a brilliant idea. They wanted to buy a summer home up in Wisconsin. This was over $250,000. $250,000 for a vacation home. And their rationale was, you know what? This real estate should be a good thing. But in order to withdraw the $250,000 for the home and then still have your monthly income out of their retirement accounts, they literally blew through over $350,000 that year. And then when you add on the tax bill, it was over $400,000. So I think you're getting the problem here. They did the opposite of the first couple. They spent a lot and they didn't care about taxes. So they lost half of their nest egg in 2 years. And it's really hard to make that back up. I mean, in order to get 100% rate of return on your money, you have to invest that very aggressively. And usually that could happen over time, but not in 1 year or 2 years to make up that big nest egg. So when we fast forward a couple years later, I heard from one of their friends, and I was no longer working with them. Unfortunately, here's the problem. One of the spouses became very ill and they needed long-term care. And this was an approximate $10,000 hit to their income every month. And this wasn't even including their monthly income needs just to eat, pay their, they didn't have a mortgage anymore, thankfully, but their property taxes, their car insurance. So they were in a really tough spot. And eventually they just ran out of money and they didn't plan for things properly and they spent too early in retirement. And that's why going back to the other segment is understanding what's the time value of that money for the future is a big game changer for retirement. Because that $250,000 that they withdrew, that's not including the taxes for the summer home that they barely used, by the way. You know what the friends of the friends told me is that they wanted to buy this house just to impress the neighbors. Buying things for other people doesn't make sense, and they ended up losing all of their money because of the sickness, but because of this poor decision. It really affected them, and then it affected the kids as well. It affects things multi-generational. The kids were expecting an inheritance, and they basically got nothing from that. So it's pretty devastating, and that creates stress, tension, the medical care for the whole family. It's brutal. It's really brutal. So before you spend money, think about what your purpose is. Where can it go? And is this really aligned with what I want? Is this going to help my future? And this is what the Retire As You Desire show is all about. It's just to really open up people's eyes as to what they're doing and know that they could have a different future, a better future. But there's also great things that you can still enjoy your life and have your money be there for you. And just really grateful that you're here sharing this experience with us. Welcome back to the Retire As You Desire show. And in this segment, we're all going to be talking about entrepreneurs. I am one. I know a ton of them. They are some of the most giving people on the planet. They want to help people. They want to change the world. They're visionaries, philanthropists. Some of them have the biggest hearts in the world. But the thing is, here's the truth. Entrepreneurs who make a lot of money, most of them have no clue where their pennies, dollars, thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars of income are going. They just have no clue. And I'm going to tell a few stories why it's not uncommon for entrepreneurs, even if they're making $1 million, multi-millions, they could be making basically nothing after all their expenses. And it's not just people who work a 9-to-5 job or a 5-to-9 job. A lot of people have trouble with money. We're not educated on how to make it work. We're not educated on how to make money work for us. We're educated to go to college. That means go into debt. We're educated to buy a home. That means go into debt. We're educated to buy a car, probably go into debt. All these things in our society are geared towards us, everyone else, being in debt. And when that happens, who wins? The banks? Is it the government? Is it our employers because they know we need to show up to pay for our bills? And entrepreneurs, out of all people on the planet, they're some of the most successful people, but they don't know where their dollars go. And the ones who do, I would love to have you on the show and interview you. So please reach out to us. I would love to have you on the show. That's an open invitation. So here's a couple stories of clients who just kind of got things wrong, or opportunities that I never ended up working with them. And the reason why I want to show this to you and tell you this, so that you avoid these mistakes, so that you see what these successful people who make a lot of money do. Don't be like them. Don't be like them. Learn from other people's mistakes. It's so much better to do that. And you're going to save a lot of money doing that as well. So here's one example. This is someone who I know. We were actually working on a life insurance case for them. And again, I'm never going to say names. I'm never going to name anything in that nature because of confidentiality. But we were working on a life insurance case for them. And unfortunately, things didn't come back as well as planned. They had a little bit of a medical history, a little bit, but they were in their 40s. But it jumped their premium up almost 3 times to what we had originally planned. Sometimes that happens. But the bottom line was, it was going to cost them $200 a month to have a $500,000 term life insurance policy for their family. So in case this gentleman passed away, that would go to their family tax-free. But you know what's interesting? I went to their house. When I pull up into their driveway, they were really upset about a $2,000 a year. It was $2,400 a year premium, $200 a month. But their basketball net was a $5,000 basketball net. They spent $5,000 just to put up a basketball hoop that probably never got used. You know, you look in the neighborhood, a lot of them had the same things. They were willing to spend $5,000 on that and not spend $200 a month to potentially protect their family if something were to happen to them. I don't understand it. They just didn't value that. You know, price is only an issue in the absence of value. But they reached out to me to do this for them. I am not in control of their health, right? And they just didn't want to do this. And I said to them, well, if your health gets any worse, they may not offer you anything. So unfortunately, didn't have the opportunity to work with these people. You know, everyone fails, every entrepreneur fails. And this was one of those scenarios where they wanted to put the money into their backyard, and they spent $25,000 doing a patio out there. And the husband said to me, yeah, we barely go out there. You know, it was perception for their neighbors. Unfortunate, really unfortunate. So they just could not put their money into the places that were going to help their family, but they put it into places that really appealed to the neighbors. Big mistake, big mistake. Here's another one. So this is a near and dear friend of mine. I've known him forever. Very successful company. So we got together, we had lunch one day. He told me that he made $4 million. $4 million from a company that he started in college. Service business, super incredible. Couldn't be more proud of him. $4 million is incredible. And the thing was, this was fascinating. When you invest money, you almost want to make it like it's a bill to yourself. Like you pay your insurance bill, your investing should be a bill. Make it automatic. You know that every month, I need to put X amount of dollars away for my future. All that could be planned out. But for this gentleman, there was a similar scenario. It was time for him to make his contribution into his investment. So I called him up, thought no big deal. We've known each other forever. I said, hey, it's time to write a check. Let's put the money in. He's like, I don't have it. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have it? You just told me you made $4 million. He's like, well, we netted $120,000 only. That was their profit. So yeah, it looks great when someone's making $4 million, but if you only make $120,000 after all your expenses, you know, is that a great use of your time? I had to have a really hard conversation with him, be like, what's going on here? He goes, well, labor, I have to buy parts, I have to do this, I have to do that. So we set up a plan where automatically, it's almost like a payroll thing for him now, where we know every month money has to come out of the company to pay for his future retirement. And he was so relieved because he thought, I didn't know I could do this. My accountant didn't tell me this. I was like, I thought you had the money. I thought there was funds from the business to do this. But this happened as well when I went over to see them. This is when I was asking for the check. It's like, I saw this huge trampoline in their backyard. They built this like in-ground trampoline, this beautiful thing for their kids. But I'm thinking to myself, They're willing to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on these things, but they don't have money to invest. That's why it's so important to really make investing a monthly bill for you, whether you're an employee, an entrepreneur, an employer, whichever the case. Put the money away automatically every month, because his retirement is probably not going to be the same because he's spending when he should be saving. And then this is one of my favorite ones. This is just mind-boggling to me, really mind-boggling to me. Another person who I know, they were making tens of millions of dollars for their company, and they had profit. The thing is, you wanna, if you're an entrepreneur, squeezing all of the juice out of your company is one of the main things to do from a retirement income standpoint. You could set up 401ks, you could set up SEP IRAs or simple. There's so many different vehicles, cash balance plans, life insurance. There's so many different vehicles to help you with your future retirement savings. But they were so adverse from pulling money out of their company, but they didn't realize that they had an S corp. So everything flows through to the bottom line anyways. So they're going to be taxed on that money one way or another. It's not a C corp. So we had to have these tough conversations when they just didn't understand that they could have the ability to put $20,000, $30,000 away or more into different investments that fit their needs, because they wanted to make sure that their kids were taken care of if something were to happen to them. And it just took a long time to put the pieces in place. But entrepreneurs overall have a really hard time understanding where their dollars go. And I think it's because they have team members to manage, they have employees to manage, they have payroll, they have this, that, and the other. They have deadlines, right? They have to deliver to clients. So if you're an entrepreneur, you want to have two different sets of books. You want to essentially pay yourself a salary every single month out of your business, because that's going to help from a tax and a social security standpoint, but automatically have a bill in place and a line item. And if your accountant isn't doing this for you, or if your advisor is not, please ask them to do that. Make your investing a line item, whether you're an entrepreneur or a team member or working for a company. That way, on your balance sheet, you can know that you have X amount of dollars going towards your future. And then that kind of takes the guesswork out of what your future could look like. And entrepreneurs, again, they're some of the most loving people, some of the most giving people. I just want to be very clear on that. But they have the hardest time because I think they have two different books to manage. And when the business is doing well, that's not the time to spend on things that you probably don't need. That's when you want to fill up the accounts from the investment and retirement standpoint, because that's going to allow you to build your accounts, build your bigger and better future, and have a huge or a bigger nest egg to live off of when you want to retire, because you don't want to be dependent on selling your business in order to be able to retire. That's one of the things that entrepreneurs miss too. They think that their business will be worth millions. What if it's not? And if you didn't save over the past 20, 30 years, you might be in trouble. So let's try and avoid that. Make investing a line item. It's a great way to get ahead for your financial future. Again, thank you for tuning in to the Retire As You Desire show. Make sure you tune in every week. We're going to have new shows, new interviews, great guests, and a ton of success stories to help you with your money, with your future, and give you some bright ideas to simplify your financial future. Don't forget to tune in every single week for new episodes. And if you ever have money questions that you want answered, I'd be happy to help you. Send me an email at bill@bloomfinancial.us. It's on the screen here right now. Send me an email. I would love to get your questions and see if I could help you with your money problems. Thank you for tuning in.